Alright, what's up, everybody? So look, let's get right into it, man. I've been gone, bro. I was on vacation. I took a nice little vacation, but I'm back, and there's a lot of things to talk about in the boxing world. I'm gonna just run through a lot of topics and a lot of shit that's going on in the boxing world, right? Just so we could get caught up. The first thing that I want to talk about is Berlanga and the damn shame that's going on with Berlanga, bro. Like, I called this shit out since the get-go, man. Like, when I told you guys, these guys sell their soul and they sell out to Canelo, right? But what's gonna happen next? You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't lying when I told you guys this shit, bro. And look what's going on with Berlanga now. You know what I'm saying? This guy fought the most wackiest fucking fighter I have ever seen in a very long time. He went in there, got like a first round knockout or second round knockout or some shit like that, right? But it was just embarrassing, right? He fought in the undercard against that kind of an opponent, to where when you win, you get a win over that guy. Do you even celebrate, or how could you celebrate? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, do you even feel proud that you went in there and got the job done against that caliber of an opponent that they put you up against? When it's just like, it's embarrassing, you know what I'm saying, bro? That shit is embarrassing as fuck. And now we kind of see Berlanga, trying to call out Caleb Plant and trying to get that Caleb Plant fight. Whereas before, when Caleb Plant was calling him out, Berlanga, he was on his superstar status shit, right? He fought Canelo, lost to Canelo, lost every single round to Canelo. And he felt like he did something special in the sport of boxing, because you guys got to think about this shit, right? And read the mentality of these fighters. Berlanga going in there, losing every single round to Canelo, and still looking at that as a win. He was happy with himself. He was happy to have gone the distance. That was a win to him. See, Berlanga, he truly knew since the get-go that he was never supposed to be in there with Canelo in the first place. So him going the distance with Canelo, that was a win for him. And, he came off of that fucking loss, and then, he thought he was on his high horse, right? And when Caleb Plant was calling him out, at first he was kind of like, like kind of ignoring Caleb Plant. But now that they threw him in this fucking shit show of a fight, you know what I'm saying? And he's a free agent now. He needs somebody like Caleb Plant now, right? That's why he's over here calling out Caleb Plant now, because he knows that he needs Caleb Plant. See, Edgar Berlanga, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. If his stock was going to rise after losing to Canelo, I have no idea what goes on in these guys' mentality, right? But, reality is hitting him hard. And, he's kind of in the position like even Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia sold out to Canelo too, and look what the fuck is happening to his career, right? So once again, I'm not lying to you guys when I tell you guys that these guys that sell out to Canelo, they got to think about the rest of their career and not just that fucking payday from Canelo. And they think that it's the right move to do at the time because they're getting that bag, But what about the rest of their career? That's what I think a lot of these fighters are just neglecting, and they're missing that point of it all, But yeah, so Edgar Berlanga, bro, I think that's what it is now. He needs Edgar Berlanga. He needs Caleb Plant, and I think we could possibly see that fight next, bro. And I think that's a pretty good fight to make, Caleb Plant versus Edgar Berlanga. Moving on from that, what else is going on here, man? The David Benavidez, Bivol and Benavidez drama, right? Who's up next? Well, it kind of seems that Bivol is going to be taking on the Benavidez trilogy. I think they're talking about December, right? And it seems like he's going to be stripped of his WBC belt. And wow, you know what I'm saying? We'll see if they do it, right? We'll see if the WBC does it. But there's just a lot of shit to talk about right there if they do strip Bivol, because how is it that they're so quick to strip somebody? How was it that they were so quick to order this fight, make Benavidez the mandatory versus Bivol so damn quick, right? Benavidez didn't have to go out there and push no damn mandatory activation button and no crazy shit like that. The WBC, they did their job and they mandated the fight. That's what they're there for, right? All of the dumbass people that are actually out here talking about like, oh, Benavidez or the fighters have to activate their mandatory. No, that's not how this shit works. So with this fight, if the WBC does their job, it seems like they're probably going to strip Bivol and, of that WBC belt if he does decide to take on that trilogy with Beterbiev. And like I said, bro, this shit is sometime in December. And I mean, it is what it is, right? It's up to Bivol at this point, He's got to make the choice of who he wants to fight. But damn, do you guys see a pattern here, bro? How is it that nobody wants to fight David Benavidez? This is why I give Morrell a lot of credit, because Morrell, he's confident in himself, right? And I think there's a lot of people are missing certain shit when it comes to Morrell. I'm telling you guys, bro, and remember this shit, bro. Remember this. Morrell is going to shock a lot of people, bro. I think Morrell is not going to lose a single fight from here on out, man. Morrell is a way better fighter than what a lot of people are giving him credit for. Even when this fight between Morrell and Benavidez happened, a lot of people were thinking that Benavidez was going to run through Morrell, and I kept telling y'all, nah, bro, Morrell is special, man. Morrell's got something. At least me, I caught on to it, bro. I could see that greatness in Morrell, and I knew that it was going to be a good fight. I knew that it was going to be a close fight. You know what I'm saying? So this is, like I said, this is why Morrell, to me, I give him a lot of credit, because he stepped up to the plate and he actually fought Benavidez even with his lack of experience, So the rest of these guys, bro, ain't nobody trying to fight Benavidez, man. And that just says a lot, bro. And this is something that, like I tell you guys all the time, you guys got to put the pieces of the puzzle together and learn how to read between the lines. See, these boxers, they've sparred with each other, right? There are certain talks that happen behind the scenes in the boxing world that we don't hear, but that these boxers do, that these boxers, they hear things, they hear rumors, from different sparrings, from different other boxers. And, and to me, bro, it just seems like the word in the boxing world between the boxers is, hey, man, stay the fuck away from David Benavidez. That guy has problems and shit. And this is why somebody like Canelo never wanted to take him on. It doesn't look like Bivol is too eager to take him on. Bivol probably is remembering those sparrings that he had with David Benavidez, and he's probably like, nah, this guy, he'll probably stop me at the end of the day. I know a lot of you guys, and look, I'm not even disagreeing with y'all. There's a lot of people that are out here saying like, no, they're putting Bivol way higher than David Benavidez, and people are saying that Bivol would, make light work of David Benavidez, but it ain't like that, bro. Trust me, it ain't like that, man. I think that Bivol knows that, hey, you know what? If I go up against David Benavidez, man, this guy might stop me, right? This guy might beat me, maybe worse than Beterbiev did, right? Who knows? Because that damn style that Benavidez has is just different, right? So this is just what I'm seeing, right? It's just crazy, like I said, how we're seeing the same shit going on over and over again, bro. Like, ain't nobody trying to fight no damn David Benavidez, man. And I don't blame these guys, right? These boxers, more than anybody, they know what time it is, So as far as Bivol and Beterbiev in December, we're gonna have to wait all this time at the end of the year to see this fight, because Bivol said that he's gonna take some time off and heal up and this and that. What I'm trying to say here, bro, is that all of this shit is gonna lose so much damn steam. You know what I'm saying? From here to December, who's really gonna be interested in seeing that trilogy? Especially now that Bivol is not gonna have all the belts. It's not gonna be an undisputed fight anymore. So that takes a little something out of it. I think having to wait till the end of the year, it takes a little something out of it, right? Because we just saw Beterbiev and Bivol back to back, in the first fight and then the rematch. And don't get me wrong, bro, they were good ass fights. But for now, I kind of just think like, bro, like, ain't nobody really trying to see that trilogy next. You know what I'm saying? There's better fights to be made. And the fight that everybody wants right now is Bivol and Benavidez, man. That's the fight. This is the new Benavidez and Canelo fight. So this is why I tell you guys, it's crazy how nobody wants to fight Benavidez, man. Is this Benavidez and Canelo all over again, bro? Is it happening all over again? But now with Bivol, as like I told y'all, bro, this is the fight that everybody wants to see now. That Benavidez and Canelo fight is kind of like dying out already, as everybody knows that Canelo completely ducked Benavidez. And now everybody's just interested in seeing Benavidez against you know, the guy that beat Canelo, you know, the bigger threat, Bivol. But, you know, it's just weird to me how this is the fight that just makes so much sense to make, but they're not making, you know what I'm saying? That Bivol is not taking it. Because this is a way better fight than Benavidez. And look, I'm not at all saying that it's like 100% Bivol's fault that he's ducking Benavidez. I'm not saying that just yet. Because I know there's a lot of things, you know, Turkey putting some unfair pressure on Bivol to fight Benavidez and this and that. I know all of that shit, right? But you know, the only thing that I'm trying to say here is that this is the fight that actually makes sense and the fight that should get made, right? But it's not getting made once again. And what is the common denominator in this equation, right? Is Benavidez and how nobody wants to fight the Mexican monster, right? So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. You know, it's not, they haven't came on and said what's gonna happen, but it seems like the trilogy is like the fight that they're putting the most attention to, you know what I'm saying? And Benavidez versus Caleb Smith, you know, that's a possible fight that could be happening for Benavidez next. And look, I'm gonna tell you guys something, right? Because I've heard a lot of things. I heard people saying that Caleb Smith deserves to be higher than Benavidez, ranked higher than Benavidez. I guess some people out there are thinking that Caleb Smith is a better fighter than David Benavidez. And I came out on record and I've said this: Caleb Smith is a stay busy fight for a fighter like David Benavidez, man. And I stick 100% behind that shit, right? So if this fight does happen between Benavidez and Caleb Smith, to me, it is going to be a stay busy fight because I have Benavidez ranked a lot higher than Caleb Smith. And I believe he's a way better fighter than Caleb Smith. And if that fight happens, bro, I think Benavidez is going to completely run through Caleb Smith, right? But I wouldn't mind seeing that fight happen, bro, because I just want to see Benavidez at this point start running through this 175-pound weight division, right? Start running through all of these guys. I don't care who it is, Caleb Smith, Boatsy, anybody could get it, right? So where there's nobody left except Bivol and Benavidez, and, you know, he finally gets his opportunity and his chance to prove his damn greatness, bro, because it's a damn shame what's going on with Benavidez, you know. But at the end of the day, bro, like I said, I've told you guys this one time, all of this shit is just gonna make for a way better story for David Benavidez when he finally gets his shot and he finally gets those damn belts, right? And Benavidez, he's gonna be the next best thing, man. I see it everywhere, you know. Even a lot of these Canelo groupies and shit, right? All the people that are hating on David Benavidez, it's gotten to a point right now where they have no choice but to give David Benavidez his props, right? This is just how much of a force David Benavidez is, and just the way that he's been moving, right? There's no way you could keep hating on this guy. So eventually all of these groupie channels, all of these David Benavidez haters, all of these Canelo fanboys, they're gonna have no choice but to convert over because the truth is finally coming out and everybody's seeing it. And you know, just think about this shit, right? How many boxing channels on YouTube right now, bro? And count them and leave it in the comments section, right? How many boxing channels are still defending Canelo? How many boxing channels are out here saying that Canelo did not duck David Benavidez? Probably none, bro. Everybody, like every single boxing channel on YouTube, they're all saying the same shit, that Canelo is cherry picking, that, you know, he ducked David Benavidez. And, you know, at the end of the day, bro, all the boxing channels that were rocking with Canelo, they've all kind of switched up and they had to see the truth, right? And they had to switch up and call Canelo for what he is. He's a duck and he's cherry picking and this and that. And, you know, all of these Canelo groupie channels, bro, they had to switch up, but they had to switch up on the side that they had to start giving David Benavidez his props because it was just inevitable, you know, and that's just what it is, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, bro, like I said, Benavidez is super young. He's got hella time to cement his legacy, to start getting, you know, start getting a couple of these belts and shit, and so people could really start seeing him for the true monster that he is, you know. I believe by the time that David Benavidez is 30 years old, he'll be undisputed at 175, bro. He would have probably ran through pretty much the toughest challenges in that damn division, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. I'm making this video long as fuck. But go ahead and leave me a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. You know, I'll be on to the next one.